So I'm here in the centre of Stockport. It's the 7th of July 2023 and the construction project is nearing completion. Behind me is the tall block. We've got the bridge, the footbridge, which connects the station, and over to the right we should just be able to see the tall building built right next to the viaduct. So it's about improving the town of Stockport, which in the past has not been regarded as perhaps the most attractive town around, but you could say it's a little bit like turning a sow's ear into a silk purse.
So in front of us is the rear of the interchange. Though the railway station is some distance away, accessible by the bridge on the left. The residential building is a large rectangular shaped block with how many residential floors? Let me just count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I'm standing here under the railway viaduct, built 1839 to 1840, architect John Lowe. You can pause and read the rest of it if you like. Yes, from here on Bank we can see the southwest corner of the interchange and the residential block above. Now we're on the west side of the railway viaduct looking at the Weir Mill project, and we can see new residential buildings going up. These are not going to be taller than the viaduct. They will be somewhat smaller, and they will stand next to the old Weir Mill, which was built next to the River Mersey in the late 18th century, before the construction of the viaduct. The sign says, "Not your run-of-the-mill mill, 200 years of history." And this is the controversial residential tower under construction right next to the viaduct. And if you look straight ahead, you'll see that it will reach over 2 times the height of the viaduct. I make it 5 metres or 15 feet away. The sign says, "Weir Mill will be oozing with personality and packed with spaces for folks to explore." From 18th century cotton works to, is that slick urban living? Let's look up at the magnificent viaduct, an icon of Stockport and the railway age, said to be the largest brick structure in Europe, 183 years old, a landmark and a subject for artists and photographers like me. At least train spotters will have a great view down onto the viaduct from the top. So now we're looking at the new interchange with the oval-shaped pavilion on the curved corner. It's an interesting design. Oh, and flying overhead, a Virgin Atlantic A330 positioning flight. This is the northwest corner of the bus station. We can see the reflection of the East Midlands train in the window, and we can see the reflection of the viaduct itself. So is that residential block, the one above the interchange, too big? Answers in the comments. The new Weir Mill tower has now reached about halfway, nearly the height of the viaduct behind. So the structure is going to offer what? 253 new gaffs. I thought a gaff was a foolish and embarrassing error made in public. Oh no, that's gaff, G-A-F-F-E. This is gaff, G-A-F-F, Manchester, Cockney and Glaswegian slang for place of residence. Why can't they use proper English? It's 253 new apartments or flats.
Let's break off and look at the historic part of Stockport. We'll return to the interchange construction site later. This is Little Underbank, in the heart of what I like to call the Altstadt, the old town. In Germany and Austria, the designated historic part of the town is kept as original as possible, with special building regulations, and it's often a destination for tourists. Today, looking from the bridge, we can see that Little Underbank is a lively place with people sitting out at tables, eating and drinking, with music playing. There's a great atmosphere, and meanwhile, up in the marketplace, there are market stalls to explore. The market seems smaller than what I remember from my childhood. I used to come here with my mum and we used to go into the food hall. I'll never forget looking up at the cheese counter, tasting a sample of crumbly, tangy Lancashire cheese. In the market square, people are sitting out in the June sunshine outside the Baker's Vaults pub. Stockport Indoor Market is open Tuesday, Thursday, Friday and Saturday. It was the winner of the Best Small Indoor Market 2023. It's lively and full of character, with some great little stalls, and a cafe with tea and coffee at, shall we say, historic prices. So to those who say, "I never go to Stockport, it's horrible," I say, think again. Come and visit the town centre, bring some business to these traders. I bought some delicious cheese. What it needs is footfall. Castle Yard is steeped in history. This is the site of the Norman castle, first mentioned during the rebellion against Henry II in 1173. Did you know that? No, neither did I. I remember walking along here with my mum, and it was full of stalls selling fruit and vegetables. I'm sure I remember children scavenging fruit and veg off the ground. St Mary's Church, famous as a scene in the film A Taste of Honey, has been restored, and so has the market hall. The freshly painted mid-Victorian architecture looks photogenic against the blue sky. This is a real town centre asset like no other, and in the steep little windy streets there are new places to eat and drink. Stockport Dungeon and Court Leet, where justice was once administered, now a nice place to live. And there in the window, one of the happy residents, there's a shop selling Stockport-themed books and artworks. And one of the nicest shop fronts, I think, is the Hidden Gem, spiritual and holistic gift shop. And they have a positive message. All things are possible if you believe. And if we believe it's possible that the new transport interchange is going to be a success, then hopefully it will be. So let's take a look at a few more pictures of the Altstadt, or Old Town, taken on Thursday the 20th of April, before we fast forward to the transport interchange construction site on Saturday the 8th of July.
We are on Wellington Road North on the corner of Heaton Lane. Opposite is the George pub, which unfortunately closed some time ago. They used that terrible font on the facade. No wonder it closed. I've read that there is a proposal for another tall building, even taller than its neighbours. It'll be an apartment building with every flat hosting a winter garden, and it'll be even higher than its two neighbours. Here's the former Debenhams on the north end of Mersey Square. It's now boarded up. It closed some time ago. When I was younger, I used to think that exterior reminded me of the plastic inlay tray for a box of chocolate fingers, which was repurposed as the exterior cladding of a building. Such is the inventiveness of the architects of the 1970s. The UCP Tribe House once stood here, and over on that side of Mersey Square used to stand the magnificent fire station, demolished in the 1960s to make way for Mersey Way shopping precinct, opened in 1965, one of the first in the UK. It has since been renovated to make it look a little bit more attractive. And over there we have one of the gems of Stockport, the Art Deco Plaza Cinema, built in the 1930s. And we can see how the transport interchange extends underneath the road viaduct into Mersey Square to provide convenient covered access from the square to the interchange. And passing overhead, the Air France Airbus A220 from Paris, Charles de Gaulle. That's one of the great things about Stockport. It stands on the intersection of transport routes, road, rail, motorway, and the final approach of aircraft. And that's the River Mersey, wending its way westwards towards the Wirral and Liverpool and onto the Irish Sea via the Manchester Ship Canal. And I can see that they are digging down into that area that used to be part of the old post station next to the river. I'm not quite sure what's going to happen here. And there, crossing the viaduct, is an Avanti West Coast Pendolino train, and that's the 9:13 departure from London Euston, arriving into Manchester Piccadilly in 7 minutes time. That's at 11:19 a.m. And that's how the project's going to look when it's completed. A new transport interchange, town centre park and residential development for Stockport. And there is the statement of purpose. You can pause the video if you want to read it. High ideals? Maybe, but are they going to succeed? And what's going to happen with this house? I'm sure something interesting could be done with it. That's the construction company, Wilmot Dixon, and the roof of the facility is going to become an urban park. We can see the oval-shaped cutout at ground level, within the oval, which is where the buses will stop, and the passengers, including me, will get on and off. Those are the guide marks which I put on top of the wall. It must be 2 years ago, so let's place the camera, or let's place the iPhone, directly on top of the marks, and that's the view today, with the wide angle setting. Let's compare that with how it looked a couple of years ago. Quite a transformation, and that looks to me like it's the 11:19 northern departure from Stockport to Chester. So that concludes this update of Aidan Eyewitness. Don't forget to like the video, post a comment, subscribe to the channel, share with others, and I still don't have a fixed upload schedule, but I hope to post another video soon, so it's Auf Wiedersehen in Stockport.